It's recording. Were we not recording the whole time?
Seems like every road you're on is hit a dead end. There is hope. Let me show.
Oh, good gravy. That was an effort.
Oh.
To which I've always said, hi everyone, welcome to our channel. Hope you're doing great. I've always said we should have done it this way. I know the graphics aren't great visually, but in terms of all the technology, it's like this is the simplest way to
Y'all.
record outside of being geographically in the same room. Because every time we have to sacrifice something. You guys are listening to my soapbox, so here's my soapbox for 2 minutes. I'm sorry.
Yep.
But it's
Yep.
like, we started this off going, okay, cool. I have a new setup. And Ellie's like, cool, I'm gonna fix my camera stuff because the one that you sent me isn't working and it's exposing. And it's like, okay, cool. And then it's like,
Yep.
great. Now my audio's not working. Now my gain's not working. Now this isn't working. And then it's like, we
And
could go
then
back to
I
the old
changed-
camera, but if we do,
Yep.
then it's only going to be like 40% of me talking because Ellie's going to have an error 404 over. And so we're going back to Zoom because it's just the easiest method. But even then, I know I'm going to have some audio issues with my computer being like in the background. So
Y'all, we've been working at this for over an hour.
yeah, it's
been wild. Holy Spirit
it's
didn't
been
want us to record this
stupid.
because technology was not on our side. Like Zach said, cameras were not working for me. I have two different cameras, but they're Sony, so I was switching lenses, and when I switched the lenses, it's like, cool, great, I got it working. But then one body camera was not able to process the frame right, so it's super zoomed in at the same exact spot that I always have my camera, so I'm trying to change it up. Yeah.
Oh, wait. I have a
Oh.
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 No, it's fine. I should unmute myself on Zoom.
You are.
No, mine says I'm muted. I have a
Unmute
red
yourself?
slash. Well, because Zoom picks up when people are talking. So if I'm muted, you're going to be the big screen the whole time, or I'm going to be the big screen the whole time because it's not picking me up.
Zach.
That's how it works. All right, audio's here. I don't know if it's going to pick it up, but we'll have to figure. The episode is what it is, everybody.
Yeah.
It is
Here we are.
what it is. So
This is the budget we have.
this is what we have. This is what we're working with. It might be my face the whole time, but I don't know.
No, so when we recorded the episode with Miss Alice, it's just picking up with whoever is speaking. But because we haven't done it where one of us was muted, I'm not sure if it spotlit you or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
You gotta
But
remember back
we'll
when
find
COVID
out.
first happened and saw all those videos as well. and
Yeah.
I don't remember since then.
Who knows?
hey,
It'll be
we're
just
here.
like our first few episodes where we didn't do dual painting. It was just like my face the whole time. So it's
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, well, here we go, everybody. Here we go.
By the way, is there a fan behind you? Because it pops up in the background and it looks like an ear.
Yeah, it's a fan behind me.
Oh,
It's whatever.
well, there you go.
I don't care.
I don't care at this
At
point
all.
either. Lord Jesus, take over this episode because, golly, technology is not our friend right now. And it's not supposed to be anyways, but here we are.
No, it's not supposed to be, but here we are, doing our best.
Yep.
All right, boys and
Welcome to-
girls, you ready
welcome
for
to
today's
episode-
topic?
Welcome to episode 14.
Yes.
Y'all, whoever who has recently joined us has been here since day one. Thanks for joining. If you don't know who we are, Zach and Ellie, we're a sibling duo for discussing just our journey in experiencing abuse from our father. And today's topic, Zach, you thought it was a
Mhm.
splendid idea, and let's discuss your heart behind the topic.
My heart had no decision into this topic. The topic at hand was because neither one of us came up with an idea. So we record every other 2 weeks.
Give or
Um,
take.
and in that timeline, it's always 12 hours before we record the next episode. Hey, what do we want to talk about? And so
Not 12,
Ellie had
but
no idea. Yeah, no, it was about 12. It was 12, trust me. You asked me at 9 p.m. last night after our Bible study, hey, what do you want our topic to be? I don't know. And then 9:30 today. Hey, have you thought about our topic, Ellie? No. So,
it's
12.
not. You're part of this team too. You're supposed to think of something too.
No, I've come up with most of the topic
That's your
timelines
skill
and
set.
conversations, and Ellie has not. So whenever I'm like, "Hey, Ellie, what do you want to talk about?" She's like, "I don't know." So I was like, "All right, fine."
I brought up a couple. Hold on.
She points up the one finger. I've a couple.
No, I'm
One
saying
couple.
like hold on. Golly.
No. Anyway,
Anyway.
it's been the majority of me, but I asked her, what do you want it to be? She said, I don't know. So I said, all right, then we're gonna talk about our brother. And then she said, ugh, oh no. So
Not I don't want to talk about him. It's gonna be heavy.
yeah, hence the oh no.
Oh no.
So we're just gonna
I
talk
love-
about our brother. We already kind
Yep.
of alluded to. Huh?
I said yep.
Okay. We've already alluded to the fact that we have a brother. We are not in relationship with him at this time. And so we probably won't get into all of that, but we just I think it's time that we talk about our brother. We have, there's 3 siblings involved, and 2 out of the 3 are united, and 1 is not.
Yep.
So, and it was going to be a topic of conversation anyway, and there's never a good time to talk about it. So I just say, let's talk about it. You know, we'll never
Yeah.
be ready, so we might as well talk about it now.
Yeah. Well, and to give background of the story, if we haven't been clear, I think we have been clear about it already. Zach is my half brother, but I've known him since my day one, anyways, and so we've been raised with that knowledge. But honestly, people say we look so similar anyway, so you can't even tell we're half siblings. But
Mhm.
our younger brother is my full blood brother, and so what's the age difference? You to me is 6 years. Younger brother to me is 2 years. So for him to you, it's 8 years. Is that
About
right?
8 years. Yeah.
And
Yep.
and that's it. And our mom likes to joke that she knows of. And
Yep.
yeah. But to give background to who he is, just to keep his privacy and to protect his identity. Not that we're trying to hide him, but we're not going to mention his name. If we do, I'm going to bleep it anyways. Just so, for the sake of he may or may not know that this podcast exists, and just to keep him protected and to not have anybody attack him in any way, shape, or form, we're going to keep him discreet in that nature. But if we have not shared this much detail already, the family dynamic obviously was dysfunctional growing up, but in revealing our upbringing, Zach, you've mentioned just really recognizing that our abuser, me, and younger brother were our 3 musketeers united versus Zach and mom. But I had my own personal conflict when it came into that dynamic with us three that I didn't feel like I belonged between abuser and younger brother. So dynamic was weird in that I had a younger brother and I loved him. I have a younger brother, and at the time of relationship I loved him. I still do.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I still message him just because even if I'm blocked or not, whenever he does unblock me or whatever, there's proof of me letting him know I think about him. I don't think the relationship was really nourished and fueled in God honoring dynamics, if that makes sense, because for some reason it's now fizzled out to where it's at today, which is there's nothing. And there came a point for me to reach out to build that relationship, and he wasn't interested. But yeah, Zach, just to piggy it off of you, what can you speak on in remembering what the dynamic was like, how the dynamic was, and then what did that look like fizzling out? Because we can just dive deep into that, or if you want to take it a different direction, go ahead too.
I don't know. I mean, I think for I guess I would say growing up he he didn't start breaking away until much later in life. I think growing up he was integrated in the family, meaning he talked to all of us, he participated in everything. I mean, he's a different personality, but I mean, we were all siblings. Like we all got along, and um, I think for what I can recall, uh, our brother started being brainwashed in a different way. I think he was part of the same brainwashing that you were in, that you experienced, in terms of the whole Mom and Zach are the bad ones, I'm the good ones, you belong with me, I'm here to protect you, all that stuff. Is your lip itching?
Don't pay attention to me.
You're
all I knew, the
literally huge on my screen, and all I see is like that.
Wow,
So
way to bring attention to me.
well, I mean, you're being recorded too, so it's not like they can't see it. They will. It's just you're like you're on my 30-inch screen. That's all I see.
Sorry.
No, I think
Spotify folks won't understand.
I think he got a different kind of brainwashing as well, in addition, I would say.
Yeah.
That perspective might be a little bit different because Ellie grew up with him more than I did, just because of that age difference. You know, I left home when he was 9. I didn't come back home for a long time. So I cannot attest to a lot of what had happened to him or what he was exposed to or led to believe. But I know when I had come back from college and I was living at home, and months later it was announced that there was going to be a legal separation. Already though, before that, I think our abuser started to do a different kind of brainwashing with our brother, and I would say, without going into so many details, our brother was kind of taught in a different way that our mom was the bad one. What that kind of looked like was, for whatever reason, our abuser was very territorial over him. There were things that our brother couldn't he like I don't know, like I have like one memory of one time. I'm gonna get the details wrong, just because it was so long ago. Um, but like there was one time where my brother was put in a position to fight with our mom all the time. My mom was trying to bring structure. Our abuser
Mm.
said, "Stop it. That's bad for our child. No structure, no rules, no nothing." Um, Meanwhile, I had all the chores. I had all the I had the curfews. I had to feed the dogs. I had to dump the trash. I had to participate with, loading, unloading the dishwasher. Um, Brother didn't have to do any of that. In fact, there was a lot of arguments our abuser made for our brother of, why would you make him do that? He's just a kid. How do you think that makes him feel? And so
Wow.
that started creating a different dynamic with our brother. I don't think that happened with Ellie to the same degree. It was kind of a different type of spiel there. But I remember there was one time our mom was arguing with our younger brother because there was some conflict, and my brother was like standing up to her in a wrong way, like combative. And our abuser stood in between them
Mm.
and pretty much said, like, you need to stop it. You need to let him go. You need to, like, essentially stop being so hard on him. You're being unreasonable. And like our little brother like peered over to the side and was like, "Yeah, mom." So like already there was like this unified yoke bleeding into our brother, where essentially our abuser was making a second version of himself within our
Mm.
younger brother, I would say. um they were taught so, but and that, I think when that started, our brother was like I think it was happening for a while, but it really started to negatively manifest when he was a preteen. You then add on the separation, that didn't help. And I think it became even more apparent that he glued to our abuser,
Mm.
and was loyal there. And then you add on extra years, um, you add on all of that. Um, Slowly but surely, our brother kind of started walking away and started distancing himself from all of us, even though we all lived in the same house at one point in time.
Wasn't
Um,
there a time where mom even mentioned one of the earliest signs that she noticed that there was division happening with our younger brother, where we were at the beach and one of the beach vendors at the pier, uh our younger brother wanted to go in there, and so mom was trying to follow him or something, or trying to get to him just to make sure, because he probably was 8 or something, young like that. And our abuser stepped in front of her and said, "You don't get to talk to him like that," or something of that degree. Do you remember that at all?
I I remember it, but I wasn't there. What had happened was, um, I only know about this because on the drive home, you were texting me everything that was going on a 2.5 hour drive home from the
Oh.
coast back to our hometown. I was up
Oh.
at college at the time. Um, but what had happened was our brother wanted to go buy something at a candy store, and our mom said, "Okay, go, but meet back over here. Like, you can go do that, but you need to then come back over here." Or no, it was one of those things where it was like, um, "Do this first, and then you can go over there,"
Mm.
kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, abuser stepped in as if mom overstepped some huge boundary that was unacceptable, and yelled at her, demeaned her, and she cried the whole drive home, while you were
Mm.
texting me going, "Mom's crying. She keeps repeating the same Christian song over and over on the radio. Everyone else is silent and
Yep.
ignoring her." That started, I would say that that is another good example of it. The weird thing though is our brother used to not be that way. I have a memory of when our brother There was one time our brother, he stood up for our mom when he was probably about 7 or 8. And he stood
Yeah.
up to our abuser because our abuser got mad at mom for buying a $10 plant at Lowe's because it was discounted. I don't know
Mm.
why she bought it, but I guess it wasn't in the budget or they didn't agree upon it. And our abuser was yelling at our mom, and our brother stood up to our abuser and said, "You care more about that $10 than you do about my mom."
I remember that. I remember that.
And so at one point in time, our brother would confront, which I couldn't do. I remember thinking
No.
back then, I don't get that luxury. If I were to do that, I'd get my butt handed to me. You know,
Yep. Yep.
but our brother could do that. And then there was this slow burn for then all of a sudden our brother becoming loyal to our abuser. Um, there's another memory I have. I can't remember the exact details, and it probably doesn't make sense, but I remember there was one time when our younger brother was in his preteen era, and he was having a fight with our mom, and he called our abuser on the phone, um to which I think our abuser was at work, or maybe it was a weekend, I can't remember, but our brother went out in the front yard waiting for him, and our abuser
Mm.
came home and picked him up, and our mom was like, "What the heck? Like, he your son calls you and you're just going to come pick him up and not talk to me, your wife, his mother,
Mm.
to talk about what's going on? Why is he doing that? Like, is something wrong?" He just came up and like I don't know if I don't remember if he picked our brother up and they drove off, but I remember going like, why is
Like
sitting
Flufflebottom.
in the front yard? Our front yard, by the way, was built on a 30-foot hill, probably higher, maybe like 50 feet. And in the front yard, when you exit out the front door, there's like a few steps down, and there's like one ground layer, maybe like 4 feet below the house, and then there's another layer that's built on a hill, slanted. So when you look out the window, you see like the street where cars
Mm-hmm.
are driving, and then if you look further down, you can kind of see like flower bed and grass and whatever. And he was just like sitting down on the steps, and I was like, why is our brother out here? you know so I feel like there was this slow build that our abuser instilled into our brother to make him defiant.
Yeah.
And
Like Flufflebottom.
sorry, I have to bleep that out.
I've
Our
made
brother,
notes. You've said his name 3 times now.
have I? Oh, I didn't
At
even
least
recognize
twice. It's okay.
that. Our brother, yeah, again, like, I have my own theories about it. I think oh, we have 10 minutes, by the way. We're recording on Zoom, you guys, so we have to in about 9 minutes take a break and go into a different chat meeting. But
Also, you've been awkwardly frozen on my end for the past 20 minutes.
oh, well, that's stupid.
It is. It might end up being just an audio version on YouTube. We'll figure it out in post, but
Am I still? Yeah, I'm still
you're still
frozen.
frozen. Yep.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Um
To piggy off of you real quick, did you have to finish your idea real quick? Oh look, hello. Welcome back.
okay. No, I have an idea about what I think why that was, but either way, our brother was at the mercy of our abuser, and our abuser made it so that he didn't have to respect anybody in the
Well,
family.
I want to piggyback off that real quick before we conclude to what we think. What I
Mm-hmm.
saw happening was the fact that our abuser showed so much favor to our younger brother, and
Mm-hmm.
he was allowed to do anything and everything when uh he called our abuser dude, not dad. Hey dude, hey bro. And he was allowed
Mm-hmm.
to have all kind of curfews broken, get whatever gadgets he wanted. He didn't get much disciplinary. I don't recall seeing much disciplinary to him from father of, brother, you were out of line. You can't do X, Y, and Z. You don't treat my wife this way type of disciplinary.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall seeing that. I recall a majority of the time with our brother where just farting around, playing games, doing whatever's, just doing what friends do, of just hanging out and playing stupid games. And then when I got older and I moved back into town, it seemed like the common ground, where younger brother was already 21 at this time. Brother and abuser would hang out and drink in the backyard. They're not allowed to drink inside the house, so they'll go in the backyard and drink, and they'll create their own little fire pit and whatnot. So there's some symptoms to just seeing that there is definitely a dysfunctional dynamic between father and son, where it's not a God honoring father son relationship. It's a friendship. He just happens to be my dad, and we get to do whatever we want anyways. I don't remember I remember our younger brother having the spirit of our mom, of being stubborn, but also very spirited, very passionate. But I could see what, once our father got to take that vulnerability and the innocence in that, and to twist it into having anger being the fuel, and then twisted everything else, instead of being youthful and spirited and being passionate and the things that he loved, he now is completely defiant and going down the rabbit hole of sincerely just, I don't care about the world. I'm going to do whatever the F I want. I'm going to buy all these things, buy all these gadgets, love bomb the heck out of people, don't have a relationship with people. He literally was creating a mini-me in our brother, because we've seen it in today, somewhat recently, of our brother doesn't have a relationship with some of our cousins, and all of a sudden people are getting presents from our younger brother, and why is that happening? If that's relationship, that's odd. And it's just refer back to who the parent is in that dynamic, and it's our abuser who has done the same exact thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot that goes into why our brother is the way that he is. You know, at the crux of it all, it's because he was favored, like you said. And we've been talking about how it's a full-time job to do 3 different types of abuse at the same time. He was doing 3. He was treating mom and I one way. He was brainwashing the both of you, and he was making teacher's pet out of our brother.
Yeah.
You know, he raised our brother to not be accountable to anybody, that he had a right to just feel and think how he wants to be, and he can treat whoever he wants to the way that he does. Um, and our brother is loyal to him. Our brother thinks that he is the victim and the whole family thing.
Brother thinks
He,
that
he
brother thinks that he himself is the victim, or that father is the victim.
abuser, yeah, is the
Yeah.
victim and everything.
Yeah.
And so therefore he thinks anybody who is aligned against said abuser is wrong.
Yeah.
And is the bad guy. So hence why we don't really have relationship with him. It's not because we don't want it, it's because he doesn't want it. He thinks as an extension of his father, he thinks that his only family is him and his father.
Yeah.
He doesn't have relationship with our grandparents. He doesn't have relationship with our aunt and uncles. He doesn't have relationship with our cousins. He doesn't talk to anybody. He would rather make relationships with his father's side of the family, of which we weren't close to. We didn't really grow up with them. But he
We
has
didn't
his
grow
own
up with them, by the
definition of
way.
family. Huh?
Sorry, I was gonna say we didn't grow up with his side of the family, by the way, because our abuser's side of the family didn't want relationship with us either.
Yes, correct. So, I mean, I don't even see you in the chat. Approve.
Alrighty, guys, we're back.
We're back.
Zach, continue the idea that you were having.
No, I was just saying that our abuser made our brother believe that no one else cared for our brother. And so he redefined a lot of things for our brother in order to isolate him and to essentially have a clone of himself. I mean, I think part of it was our abuser, in a way, thought like, oh, I had a really bad childhood, so I'm going to protect my child from all the things that I was exposed to and all the evil that I thought was going on, and I'm just going to do better and protect him from everything. I think there's probably something in there like that, but at the same time, he did a number on our brother. And I even tried to, like, during the separation, like, our brother, I fought with him all the time.
I remember
all the time. Fought with him all the time. He was 13 years old. Fought with him all the time. And he would come home from visiting, from when both of you would go visit our abuser, and he would come back home telling me I'm not his dad. I can't tell him what to do. And our abuser would tell the both of you, there's no reason for Zach to be in the house and I can't be there.
Yeah.
So, like,
which didn't make sense because you're not married to, you're not in the marriage that needed help.
So, I mean, he made it so that our brother was combative with everybody, and our abuser allowed it to happen. He allowed him to run the roost and do what he wanted to do. And if our mom had an issue with it, mom was the bad guy. You know, so, I mean, and that morphed differently as he got older. You know, I remember I remember there was times where he and our brother and our mom would fight all the time, and
Yeah.
they would have issues, and it was bad for a while, um, and I would try to connect with him, and even like when he was like 15, 16, I would try to um, make contact with him and try to, initiate relationship and even apologize for how I handled things during the separation, and would always put it in his court to see if that was something he wanted to talk about, and he would always say no, he was fine. But the relationship with him, probably as a mid-aged teenager, always it only went so far in terms of relationship. We didn't hang out, we didn't do anything together. I think I can only count like a few times where we actually went out and like saw a movie here or there.
Yeah.
But he didn't really care if I was around or not. He already felt like I left him a long time ago. So
I
I mean,
bet.
he was already operating in his own hurt, and then you have our abuser sprinkle in lies and deception, and young children are impressionable and they believe what they see and hear, and and so I know we both have tried to have relationship with him even when he was an adult. He's in his early mid 20s now, and we both have tried to talk to him, and he really just wants to fight. He doesn't really want to talk. He doesn't really want to consider that we on our side have any pain, any
Yeah.
perception other than we're bad, abuser is good, and he thinks he's the only one who feels pain.
No, what
You
I've
know,
said recently about him is, and for the abuser as well, but one of the many reasons why my heart aches and breaks for our younger brother is that he is unwilling to reconsider that he might be wrong. And the beliefs that he has and the pillars of reasons why he lives the way he lives at the dynamic with the rest of his blood relatives might be wrong. And is it possible to look around the corner and get some clarity? Yeah, but he's not willing to do that. I remember the dynamic when coming back to the city, where it's wild. I don't know people's home lifestyles, but I remember our mom would be in the master bedroom. Our younger brother would be in his own bedroom. Our abuser would be in the living room, and I would be in the bedroom at the time, which was actually yours, Zach, but that was my bedroom because that was all that was left and available. We all would stay in our rooms all day. No one came together to watch TV together. Or mom needed to go and do errands, so she would leave, but younger brother would either be in his room or be at work, and nothing in between. The only time that he would come out of his room was when he knew when mom would go to bed and call it a night. You hear her say goodnight to me and everything. And as soon as she closed her bedroom door, younger brother would get out of the room and go to the living room and go drink with our father at the time. And that was the routine on a daily basis. There was no connection or longing to connect with mom. It was fractured, it was shattered. And he was at the hip of his father, our abuser, unknowingly his abuser. And there just came a point for me, and I still have the text saying, hey, because I'm going to counseling sessions and I'm learning how to express and everything, I just said, hey, I realize that we don't have much of a relationship. Yeah, I recognize that too. Mind you, we're texting and we're across the hall with each other, just in each other's rooms. And I said, would you care to want to try to work on that? No, thanks. And that was wild to be able to see that it was right there in front of him. An offering of, this could be better than where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
There's an opportunity to make something different than where it's at.
Well, and that's an interesting take too, because you only, in the grand scheme of things, were away from him only 3-ish years.
Yeah.
Meaning you grew up with him. You went to school in our area. You went to college in our area. You only left to move up and then go to Texas and come back. So at most, you only had a 4-year timeline where you were not around him. You weren't socializing with him, etc., etc. Mine, I left home when he was 9. I came back for the separation. I left again for 3 to 4 years. I came back for a few years, went back up north. Him and I, it's been so off and on, but you grew up with him in a linear fashion. You grew up with him more.
Even when I left, he and I still kept tabs because he had a job where he moved people's homes. And so we would reconnect in various spots in different states that we were in. So even that 4-year gap wasn't quite a 4-year gap because we were still connected and still met with each other outside of states and everything.
Correct. But what I'm trying to ask you before you interrupted me was, what do you recall in terms of growing up with him, things changing, your relationship with him changing? Because once upon a time, you guys are different people. Even when you were kids, you were very different. There was nothing that brought you two together. There wasn't a common show that you liked, a common movie that you liked, a common activity that you liked. You know, you guys were so different in every way, shape, and form. There was nothing that united you both in terms of personality and activities, but you still would play together, do things together, etc., etc. What do you recall in your relationship with our brother of what was it like to grow up with him? What was it like for him? What was it like with him before you can recall our abuser kind of infiltrating that? Like, what do you recall, if anything?
I don't remember what life was like without our abuser. Because what I'm saying is that I only remember the common ground for younger brother and I was our abuser. The only time that our younger brother and I would hang out, play, and make potato guns and whatever things that we made and played with was around our abuser. I don't know what life was like without that being infiltrated and being stained or maneuvered in any other way.
I get what you're saying.
I only remember the period of time where it was us against the world type of thing. And while the separation was happening and younger brother and I were in the house, I couldn't tell you what my emotions were then because it's so blurred. I can tell you that it was definitely affected because our abuser, whenever we would reconnect or anything, would go based off of the foundation that he built on. This isn't right. Your mom shouldn't treat you that way. Mom and Zach are off doing their own thing again. There was very similar tactics that our abuser used for us to have that similar foundation of It's abuser, me, younger brother, and I. We got each other's back. We're going to support each other. We're going to survive the world together. That's it. That was the bread and butter. That's my entire identity in childhood related to my younger brother and my father.
So you're saying you can't recall, so example, I can recall times with our brother when times were quote unquote fine. They weren't fine, but he and I weren't at each other's throats. We were actually getting along. And then as you throw the timeline closer to today, it's not that way. So at one point it was fine. At one point it was not fine. Somewhere between fine and not fine, there were things that had happened that you notice things are changing, things are different. Maybe you don't know why, but you can at least acknowledge that there's some sort of declining trajectory happening where things just really weren't what they were before. You're saying that never existed and it was just all crap, but you just didn't know it was crap?
Not the latter. I would say that
That's what I'm trying to ask. Because
Yeah,
I remember when you guys were kids, you guys would play toys with each other and sing along, and now you don't do
Yeah.
that anymore. So I'm just
Yeah,
like,
well-
at some point, there had to be like my relationship with my brother, regardless if it was infiltrated by abuser or not. At some point, there was a change. Maybe you don't remember the age or you don't remember a particular memory,
Got
but
it.
it's like at some point like the level was here, and then it had to have either it was like a stark change and you're just like, holy crud, what happened? Or it was like this slow burn, and eventually you're just like, wow, I woke up one day and I realized I don't have a relationship with my sibling. But I mean,
Yeah.
at one point, like, do you remember like you and your brother getting along and enjoying each other's company, or was it always you guys really didn't have a relationship? It was just your relationship was your abuser, and that's just what it was. Like,
I would
can you
say it was
explore
more
that
touch
a
and
little
go.
bit?
It was more touch and go when
Mm-hmm.
it was past the separation period or towards the tail end of the
Mhm.
separation. As you said, younger brother and I basically experienced all of our school years together with a couple of gaps and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So we were at school with each other all the time. I wasn't in the same classes, obviously, with him, but would see him in passing and whatnot. He started dating girls as soon as freshman or sophomore year, I believe. And so there was starting to have this distance of he was trying to have his own individual life and trying to experience having partners and everything like that. So he started his own journey that way. But I point that out specifically because I remember trying to stay connected with him, especially during high school years. And he just wanted to be left alone. And he didn't want to really connect. I do remember, however, whenever we were at the house and there were pretty mundane times where we're all trying to watch a movie together before I just depicted the vision of everyone's in their own rooms and they're not talking to each other. We would try and watch a movie together or a show together, and all of us are goofing around. I have video somewhere of all of us try to play. I don't remember, Zach, if you were in the picture or in town or not, but trying to play Uno cards at the table. So there was decent times. Yeah, why are you smiling?
I hope you still have the video. We'll have to I don't know if there's a way to incorporate it like on Instagram, but there were some odd times where for whatever reason we were able to come together, even if it
Yes.
was just for a short little moment. And I say that because there was a time where I gave our brother my Xbox 360 and we would play Call of Duty when I was in town. And I got another
Yeah.
controller and I gave it to my sister, and I was telling my brother, I was like, hey, we'll play versus, but you and I, because our sister's always on her phone, we'll be teams, and then it'll time out and it'll put her on the opposite team. And Ellie's like recording herself trying to play, and she was so mad because we would like destroy her. And it
I
was
do
so
remember
fun.
that.
It was fun. So there's times where like there were
Yeah.
odd times where we were able to, for whatever reason,
Yep.
enjoy each other's company, even though we were miles apart from each other organically.
Yep.
Um,
We
and
were
I
able
say
to
that because
find
like,
peace.
well, because I say like, again, there is an age gap between all of us, and I wasn't with you guys with a lot of things. You guys went to school essentially at the same time because of your age difference,
Yeah.
right? I know elementary school, junior high, you guys are a lot closer than you were in high school.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you are skipping down the road together hand in hand close. I'm just saying there was a relationship at one point, you
Yeah.
know, in comparison to as you got older, to the point where I'm going to embarrass Ellie here. Once upon a time, she got both of them in trouble because our brother couldn't read well because he had dyslexia, and we didn't know that at the time. But in school, you had to go and test that you read certain books, and it would quiz you on it. And she would go take his she would go take his tests on his behalf, and she got, I don't know how
of the
you guys
computer
got in
lab.
trouble for.
Well, because of
Yeah,
the
I
computer
don't.
lab. And so I got his ID,
Oh.
credential, login, and during. So during.
Ellie stole his identification and
I
logged
did
in.
a little bit. No, so I said I can help you. I can help you. Let me help you. What's your school ID? Because your school ID number was the credential login for you to do your computer lab test.
Mhm.
Back then, when you would go into a computer library and the old dialog box screen just saying, "Okay, so click A, B, or C," and I'm taking. Yeah, I was taking his tests just so I wanted to help him. And I can't, Mom would be able to recall it better, but she was able to notice just this exponential difference in younger
Yeah.
brother's test scores. Not like he was
Right.
at a 50%, then 55, then 60. It was all of a sudden 90%. So,
Well,
So,
and
yeah.
I bring that up because you wouldn't do that if our brother's response was, "No, get away from me. I don't want you in my life. You suck," right? There
right.
was enough of a relationship there that amongst all the differences, amongst all the issues going on in the house, and abuser whenever he started brainwashing and all that stuff aside, at one point relationship was there,
Yeah.
you know, and now it's not. And we're not here trying to like reverse engineer and figure out like when was the day that happened and who did what. It's just
No.
more of like there's an acknowledgement that we did have relationship at one point in time, you know.
We did.
And eventually, you know, there's I won't say it's all of our abusers' fault in regards to just relationships deteriorating, but I will say our abuser did a lot of damage, and
There's remnants of
and
it.
I was still used as a pawn, even though I left. I was still used. Like, our abuser may not outright have said I was a bad child for leaving, but I was associated with abandonment. The fact that I left to go to school and I left the toxic family behind, my name was associated with leaving, with pain, with even with you when you were like, there's a time where you were being abused by our abuser, and you said, well, I'm just gonna go, and he's like, oh, what are you gonna do, just leave like Zach did, you know? So like there was like, even when I wasn't there to defend myself, my name was being used in a negative connotation, and I didn't have to be there in the family in order to be used as a negative identifier for our brother to associate with, you know? So I mean, and I don't know why our brother didn't challenge that, because once upon a time he wasn't like that. He would actually stand up to our abuser and call him out, and he could do so without getting in trouble. I mean, at least no trouble that I could see. Like, you never get grounded or popped in the mouth or spanked or yelled at. Like, he was just this. There was this thing, you know.
I think honestly, our abuser has intimidated a portion of our younger brother. I remember sharing, I forgot which episode, but I remember sharing how our abuser physically hurt our younger brother from a camping trip, and it scared the heck out of me and our younger brother because he literally got the wind knocked out of him because of how big he is versus how little we were when we were 8 and 10. And younger brother just was farting around on the flashlight, and it's pitch black, and we're trying to set up the tent, and pops him on the chest. So I want to believe there's grounded intimidation to know that there is a power dynamic that brother needs to respect abuser, where that foundation and groundwork happened to then build off of that on I'm always going to protect you type of father to son dynamic where
no, I would honestly
understand.
No, I was about to say I agree with you. Because it wasn't like you guys were always, how do I say? Like, it wasn't like growing up, it wasn't like you and our brother were the two evil stepsisters that were protected from the evil stepmother, and I was Cinderella who was abused. I mean, in a lot of ways it was. In a lot of ways it was, you know, but it wasn't like you guys never got disciplined. You guys never experienced any bad moments with him. I think it just got reworked in a way where, he did that to me, but Mom and Zach are the bad guys still. You know, I remember.
I was just going to say there was always this picture of our father's the hero. That's it.
Well, I'll just say this. I mean, I remember there was a time you and your brother were in elementary school, I think. And I don't know if you remember this, but you and our brother, for whatever reason, would always race to get in the house first. Don't know why. It was just some game that you guys had. Whoever got there first was better or got to do something. I don't know. Maybe you guys had a game or something. I have no idea. But there was one time, I think our abuser picked us both up from school. You guys we went into the house, and in the attempts of you both trying to run into the house, you ended up pushing him down, and he ended up getting hurt. And our abuser took you in your bedroom and spanked the crap out of you.
I don't remember that.
I remember it. And I remember it because it was like 5 minutes of intense spanking and you screaming and crying. And I remember thinking back then that was very uncalled for. And it was horrible being in a house that you can't see what's going on, but you can hear what's going on. And I'm not talking about like sniffles. I'm talking about like he was angrily hitting you. And you can't tell me that that's not intimidation either. Wow. Right? Don't go against dad because, you know. Now, did he do that often? Not necessarily with you guys. But like, that's definitely a memory that I have where you didn't want to go against him.
Yeah.
You didn't want to go against him. He was this big dude. You know, so I mean, it doesn't take much to influence children as to where you can and cannot go, where those boundaries are. And still at the same time, like, and I even remember that in that time when that happened, that wasn't discussed with mom. Meaning mom didn't come home and our abuser went, yeah, I spanked Ellie because she did X, Y, and Z. And you didn't go to our mom going, dad just beat the crap out of me.
Was that hidden?
I'm not saying it was hidden. I'm just saying it wasn't brought up to the surface. organically. You didn't go to our mom and say, hey, do you want to know why half of me is red? It's because of that dude, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, already there were these building blocks that we don't tell the
Right.
truth. We don't talk to the other side. We don't share this.
Yeah.
We keep things. I didn't go and say anything myself. I'm just as guilty. I didn't go to our mom and say, look at what he did, because what was going to happen to me?
Yeah.
And so, and I bring this memory up just because I agree with you. I think there was a lot of intimidation, remembered, not remembered, in the house, not in the house,
Right.
that we all collectively have different memories and different moments that we can recall back to that none of us know of because we were all exposed to a different side, a different person, a different version
Yeah.
of our abuser. And it's so sad. And all that is to say that as time has gone on, our brother has chosen the side of who he's loyal to and who he believes.
Right.
And I've tried recently to reach out to him, and all he wants to do is fight.
Yeah.
To the point where I kind of have to go, you go, you go punch the air. You go do you. Like, I'm going to be over here. And that's just a lot of what our abuser has done to him. I can't blame him because he doesn't know an alternative side, but also at the same time, he isn't mature enough to even fathom that there could be another side, and I don't know when that'll change. I don't know if he will have a breakthrough, but he's
Well, I've even talked to mom about that because my heart aches for him because although we're not the same, there's similar testimony of we were both brainwashed. We were led to believe certain lies, and we were a clan together, all three of us, because we all believed the same mantra that our abuser had. And both younger brother and I moved across the country to get away and to experience life without the drama and this dysfunction, even though we didn't know what the dysfunction was, but we knew we wanted to get away. And
yeah,
my heart hurts for him though, because I can relate to his running away. I can relate to his consumed by the truth and unwilling to reconsider. And that truth was just what built your life for 20 plus years. And so why would it be otherwise? And I've shared with mom that for me, what got me to my breaking point was literally being broken to the point where I was homeless and I had nothing else to choose. And I needed to reconnect with somebody. So I reconnected with mom and just had to have the embarrassing confession of, I'm homeless. I can't afford gas. I can't afford food. I can't get any help. I need help. And I really don't want help from you, but I need help. And there was other things that led up to my breaking point where I was in my apartment at the time and I experienced the Lord after being distant from my relationship with him for the longest time. I did all the nooks and crannies of sin up to this point, and the Lord intervened me in my own apartment, and I sobbed for like 2 hours. I couldn't stop crying. But I kept sinning afterwards. I kept deciding to live the way that I lived in Texas at the time. And then I got homeless. Then I lost my job. Then I got homeless. Then I had to move. So I had multiple breaking points. I don't know what needs to happen, but I know for certain what needs to happen in order for our younger brother to get it knocked into him that there's something else on the other side than what he truly believes right now, is that he needs to be broken. And I'm thinking back to in the Bible, just why did Jesus wrestle with, is it Jacob, and then breaks his hip? Like, why does he break his hip? And the reason is there's a discipline point where we need to be broken in order to realize we need God. Because if we were in this belief that we're never broken, there's no problems, no chaos that we need to solve, then we believe that we don't need God. So similarly, in order for me and hoping for our younger brother to get this revelation, is he needs to get broken down to the senses of he has to have God.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want him to experience the pain, but if he needs to have that pain in order to get that breakthrough, then God, you deal with him. Because I can't deal with that.
No, and I think what's hard about it too is I agree with you. There needs to be a breakthrough, but the unfortunate reality is the difference between you and our brother, despite the fact that both of you left for school and whatever, I don't know how to say this without it being very insensitive, so forgive me, but you were probably dealt the worser hand there because our brother always had our abuser. So, like, when our brother would come back into town for holidays, he would post on social media that it was so great to spend time with family and to reconnect. And the only person he was reconnecting, at least in our family, was abuser.
Yeah.
He was back home for a while. He didn't connect with anybody. He was just his friends and his abuser, his father. He always had him. You didn't have anybody. I mean, you pushed everybody away, but there was no parent or person that you had really that was like your glue, like an anchor. And so, and I'm thinking back to our podcast with Alice where she talked about her ex-husband would claim that he got spiritually enlightened and God pulled him on the side of the road and now he's better and he's in church and blah, 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 to simulate this idea of change. Our abuser is still goes to church. And our abuser is involved in church. And I guarantee you, if our brother is going to church, he's going to where our abuser goes. And so if there's a connotation of my father's in church, my father's doing the right things, my father is serving, he seems to be serving the Lord, how could it be wrong? How could this be bad? How could he be lying? Like, that can't exist. It must be the rest of my family who is an issue, right? I'm not trying to make it as simplistic, but our abuser isn't just sitting at home with a white puffy cat sinisterly going, ha, 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 how can I do whatever? He's facilitating things that look right. And so in terms of brokenness, my fear has always been that our brother will always be aligned with our abuser as long as our abuser is the way that he is.
Yeah.
Because unless our abuser just royally screws it up, which he can, I don't know. I can't think of something that, like, alternatively, unless like our abuser does screw it up, I can't see anything happening with our brother that would make him just wake up one day going, because you've reached out, our mom has reached out, I've reached out, and it's just combat. Not even, hey, let's talk about this, or hey, I'm ready to kind of hash this out, And so until then, we're kind of stuck in a limbo where I know for you, it's kind of been like, what do we do? How do we move on? How do we go? How do we navigate life without him? He doesn't want anything to do with us. And it's like, I know, but you have to keep going. We have to keep living life and, pray when we can and all that stuff. But it's hard when the person who is abused doesn't know that they're abused and
Yeah.
is united with the abuser. It feels like you're in some sort of crazy land.
Yeah.
Like this
Yep.
crazy thing where you're just like, how warped is your sense of reality where you think that that's the truth, you know? And it's hard. It's hard on all of us. It's hard on mom. You know, it's hard
Yeah.
on you. It's hard on me, and it makes things super confusing, you know? So I mean, we don't know what God's going to do. We don't know when he's going to do it. We don't know if our brother will be healed on this side of eternity, but all we know is that it was possible for us because we chose to identify the truth and pursue the truth and choose freedom, and freedom's hard. Comes at a cost, you know.
Yep.
And hopefully one day our brother will be awarded with that option too, you know.
Yeah. Well, and that's where my prayer is at is, God, you deal with him, because I don't he doesn't want to be dealt with by me. So God, he's your child, and you God knows him. There is a relationship there between God and him. So God, you deal with him, because I can't. I don't know what to do. So I'm noticing we have less than a minute left in our call, so we might end abruptly. But
No, I think this is a good place to start. You know, moral of the story is we can't change anybody. It's up to people who need, if they change, it's because they want it and they want to partner with the Lord, and you know, we don't have the power to do it, you know. So it's just important for us to work on ourselves and be the best version that we can be.
Yep.
So with that, we appreciate everyone here to listen, and
bye, guys.
we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.